see if
Might as
anybody
well.
shows.
He's late right now, but.
Alright, we are
Did I
live.
miss anything?
I have 3 viewers already.
All right.
So,
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Problems.
let's get started with the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yep, we'll bow our heads. Father, thank you for allowing us to gather again for the few people we have here to learn more about our mission. We also pray for those who may be ill. Pray for Roger Mann's wife who's been in the hospital with a heart issue, is now home. We just ask for guardian angels to give her strength, Father, to help heal. For those that are still flying, give them guidance, give them safety. And for all the Civil Air Patrol members who they can devote their time, we just pray for them. In your name we pray.
All right. Let's see. Well, we don't. Do you have aircraft status, or
Sir?
because Lon's not here?
I can tell the aircraft, 743 Charlie Papa is back in the hangar. It's finished its 100-hour inspection, and we're able to fly it right now.
not for mission. I saw there's a whole thread about the 10-hour.
Okay, well, there's a thread out there, and the 10-hour was a misunderstanding. It's actually 10 hours before a maintenance issue, not 10 hours after, but we still can't fly it for 10 hours for cadet O-rides.
Right.
Once we do a magneto repair, and we put those back in, we have a 10-hour restriction for cadet O-rides, but we can fly Form 5s or anything else.
Is
So,
that with approval?
what's that?
That's with approval, especially at 5 hours prior to the inspection. So you have to go to Cinnamon, or, no, you gotta go to
Oh, he's
Prusek?
talking about after though.
No, but the 10 hours that's on the email from Cinnamon is that 10 hours prior to the inspection, you have to get authorization for the release from Prusek or from him.
Yeah, the 10-hour was it was written incorrectly by Cinnamon to us when I broadcasted it to them.
Okay.
Cinnamon said something about 10 hours before we take it in, or 10 hours after we get it fixed. We're not supposed to, we have to get a flight release from either Prusek or
So
Cinnamon.
it's really 10 hours.
But it's
after?
actually 5 hours before its service.
Okay.
So it's not written correctly.
So it's
But anyway.
5 hours before and 10 hours after?
Well, there's no 10 hours after. That's the
Okay.
thing. It was written incorrectly. So
Okay,
it's only 5 hours before.
okay,
So,
I'll erase it.
rides.
I'll erase it then.
No
Yeah.
rides. And is it specifically because of magnetos or any maintenance?
the 5 hours before, they don't want anybody flying over the 100-hour restriction. What happened was it was a pilot somewhere along the line decided to fly it and then fly it in for the 100-hour inspection. But you can't go over the 100 hours. You're not allowed to do that by the FAA regulations. So they're trying to limit that now by requiring that only Gary Cinnamon or Mike Prusek can release a flight within a 5-hour window before maintenance.
If you do fly over that 100 hours, you have to have a logbook entry. Legally, you can fly over 100 if you're going from A to B to get the maintenance done.
Legally, you can fly over 100 hours if you're in flight to the 100 hours.
Or a ferry flight for maintenance. It's,
They may not even do a ferry flight,
Well,
so.
I don't think
Is
they'll
it?
do it for us, but that's,
You can't get a ferry flight from the FBO here, I mean the FAA here. They refuse to give ferry flights.
oh yeah, I never had a problem out here.
Have you done it in the last 5 years,
Actually, yes.
for a ferry flight?
Uh-huh.
They wouldn't do it
Took
for
me,
me.
that one there took me about a week to get back.
Yeah, they said that I had to go to a designated,
DPE?
DPE or something like that to get a ferry flight.
DPME?
Yeah,
It's a
Designated,
maintenance inspector,
inspector, right?
yeah, maintenance.
So anyway, yeah, the Cap 437 is ready to go.
Alright. That's it for the aircraft?
So everybody that is waiting, get your sorties put in and get yourself flying.
Let's see. It looks like so Friday. It's kind of a reminder for everybody. Friday there's a Academy here at K-Rail. So let's make sure if you can be here to assist. It looks like Andre's going to be here to kind of tour the hangar and with the airport manager.
Is Andre going to be here, or is he telling us that he's not going to be here and he'd rather have somebody else fill in for him?
He says after that I will take the children for for the hangar tour.
Is that the EAA thing that he was talking about?
No, it looks different. There's
It's a tour that he put together with the airport for cadets. And I understand it's a multi-functional thing that he's going to have. He's got a breakfast or something at a set rate that the cadets can buy from the restaurant. They're going to do a tour of the airport, a tour of our hangar, and I don't know what else. But I was under the impression that Andre was going to be out of town, so we're going to have to clarify that.
Yeah, because he does use the word "I" multiple times, so check on that. There is the EAA.
I'm a part of the EAA as well. The Young Eagles program is pretty much a lot of along the lines of what we do, which is get the kids interested in flying. I know there's requirements, so obviously it's not the same as CAP, but I think in the term of a conflict, we can't fly cadets as part of that program because they're CAP members. So just be aware of that if you're looking to participate in the Young Eagles program. And I think what else is he? Yeah, because I'm looking at the list from the EAA, and it's just I think they're also asking if you've got any large posters of panel layouts, non-operational instrument gauges of any sort, or any type of panel instrument at all.
Right.
IFR, VFR sectionals, airport facility directories, training manuals. I've got a bunch, so I'll probably end up bringing some of those in. But if you've got them, please bring them in so we can get them into the EAA.
I ordered the 2 charts, the 2 posters, and I'll pay for those and donate those to them as part of a interaction between CAP and the EAA. So I'll do that.
We should have some old tack charts,
We have a bunch of old sectionals here that we can
sectionals,
give
that
away.
you can give away. I wouldn't give away all of them because sometimes we use them for
Well, we
training.
use them for school, yeah. So
They can get a few of them. There should be enough back there.
yeah, Bob used to bring in all of his old sectionals, so I have a stack of
I
them.
may still be able to get some of those if they're expired, if I talk to people in operations.
So I'm also asking my friends on the airport here if they've got any old avionic gauges and so forth that we can give to them as well for their school. So whatever I can find and give away, we'll do that. It may not be right away, but I'm working on it. So
Okay. And the other thing is, if anyone has training that they need to get caught up on, or renewals, or new training, there's a Group 1 and 3 SARX coming up. Make sure you check your emails and sign up for it.
That's the fastest way to get things done. So if you don't have that email or don't have access to it for some reason, please let either myself or Mike Swift or Andre know, and we can forward it to you. And I think it's scheduled for. Oh no, it's a different one. In case you want multiple opportunities to sign up for SARX, Group 8, if you want to travel, that is November 12th and 13th. So. That's kind of up to how you want to do it. But the Group 1 and 3 one, I haven't seen any dates with the Group 1 and 3 one. Do you happen to know what the dates are for that? I haven't seen that. No. Okay.
Should be on the Group 3 calendar.
Oh, probably. Yeah, they don't. I don't know why they don't link that in here, but. Let's see. Who wants to go next? Mike?
we asked our group commander to do his
All right.
his interaction with us.
All right.
Because he's a busy man and he may want to leave.
I got nothing.
All right.
Going on.
All right.
You got nothing going on. Don't you have several?
You lost the,
Plane's crashing.
lost the thing on it. Is it on the floor or on your coat?
Well, for now, we'll do this. And it'll look
Take
less
it off.
ridiculous.
You're out of uniform.
I know.
You know you're required to wear wings.
I'm wearing them. They're just hiding in my pocket.
It's a good thing we're not. Okay, so the Group 1/3 Joint SAREX is November 19 and 20.
All right. Let's see. So do I take care of who's not here first for future handouts, or who is here first? That's the question.
It's completely up to you. And then, could you explain why you're here?
Hi.
Who you are? Some people don't know.
Oh, there's a microphone right there.
Everybody
I'm making
here
all kinds of
knows
noises.
you, but some people-
Major Bender, Group 3 Commander. Thank you for having me tonight. We're doing some Group 3 awards. Some stuff has come out from Wing Conference, and some have just come from Group 3. So I want to make sure and thank everybody for their service, their outstanding stuff. And please keep in mind, for those that are watching us, awards should be something that's being recorded all the time. And we can put people up for awards anytime. It doesn't have to be just during award season. And that way you don't forget people that made some important contributions, and we can make sure and recognize everybody that's working really hard. So tonight I've got 4 awards to give out. A couple members are here, and some are not, and those will be handed out at a later time. So we have an achievement award, a Group 3 achievement award for Younger.
Oh.
Please step up.
Oh.
Sure. Okay, so Lieutenant Younger is being recognized for the current fiscal year and quickly becoming a role model in the squadron and Group 3 overall. Since he joined, he took upon himself multiple roles within the squadron and Group 3, alerting officer, Group 3 personnel officer, and Squadron 5 deputy commander, Squadron 5 IT officer, Squadron 5 professional development. And Lieutenant Younger is on a mission to rapidly develop his skills as he qualifies in a very short time for multiple ES positions. Mission scanner, mission observer, mission staff assistant. WAO. What's WAO? Okay. UAO.
Unit alert officer.
Is it? Okay. The Group 3 commander does
No, it's
everything.
wing alert officer.
Oh, they classify them separately for some reason.
He also quickly processes in professional development, completed level 2 in person, working on commander's course. Lieutenant Younger is extremely helpful for new members, identifying shortest path for development goals, and it's a pleasure to have him in our squadron. Awards Committee nominated Mr. Younger for the CAP Achievement Award.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations. Wait, there's bling that goes with it.
There's bling. Uh-oh.
For those that haven't already gotten bling.
Bling.
Sure, gives you Group 3 challenge pay.
Oh, excellent.
Thank you very much.
Finally, I got one. Thank you.
Okay. Colonel Swift.
Uh-oh.
Sure. Okay.
Here.
A achievement award for Colonel Swift. During the period of June 4 to June 26, noted individual, Mike Swift, contributed financially to assisting Squadron 59 with an emergency move of the entire squadron, supplies, assets, and inventory. His extremely generous donation of supplies contributed to a successful move and is deserving of a CAP Achievement Award. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate you.
Thank you very much. All right.
Oh, picture. We're getting your picture taken. All right, we have a couple of members that aren't here. And I heard rumor, Colonel Swift, that you wanted to talk about a Roger Mann Award.
Yes.
So I have one here.
Well, I
for you.
mean, I'll accept it for him, but.
Well, do you want to talk about it? It's for.
Well, there's actually should be 2 awards.
Should there?
Yes.
We'll
one
double
from
check
me and one from Andre. For two
Okay,
different
interesting. We'll have to
periods.
discuss that later,
Okay,
and we can
so-
maybe take care of that during the dinner.
But this award should be for Roger Mann for doing safety
Yes.
for the whole entire time I was a commander here.
Yes.
And I appreciate his time and his effort
and that's what it's for. So
So, thank you, Roger.
thank you,
Really
Roger.
appreciate
If
it.
you're online, I hope you are, and we'll give you this to you next week. So, or
Next-
on safety.
Next
safety
time you
night.
are seen.
On safety night.
Okay, then we have an extra special one here. Commander's Commendation for Major Terry Pratt. Sir? So I'll make an announcement here to those online. Oh my goodness, this is a small word one. Whew. 30-year member of Civil Air Patrol and key member of the Riverside Squadron 5, Major Terry Pratt is our nominee for the 2021 Exceptional Service Award. End up with the Commander's Commendation, which is awesome. Civil Air Patrol mission pilot and mentor. During the measured period 1 July 2018 through 5 August 22, Major Pratt has flown over 330 hours in CAP aircraft as pilot in command, along with over 40 hours of flight time in the right seat while getting, sorry, very small words. Well, check rides as a mission check pilot, mission pilot examiner. Major Pratt's total mission flight hours puts him in the top 3% of pilots in California Wing. He holds the highest number of flight hours in Inland Empire Group 3. The diversity of CAP missions he has flown is also noteworthy. The 330 hours includes numerous counter-drug missions, CAP and Air Force Junior ROTC cadet orientation flights, several WADS missions, Form 91 flight evaluations, requal flights, maintenance flights, training flights, transport flights, and ELT missions. While the numbers are impressive, they do not totally reflect the contribution and value of this outstanding airman. Major Pratt is an outstanding pilot for whom professionalism and skills needed to fly aircraft safely and utilize the systems. Oh, so sorry. I need to print these much bigger. But more importantly, how to employ the aircraft in CAP's real-world missions. A recognized expert in the airframe, he is sought out for his knowledge by others. Recognize the importance of the mission observer and mission scanner is the full utilization of the aircraft and crews. Hoping that made sense. He has developed training on the systems that include all members of the aircrew and has taught many ground schools on these systems, making the aircraft aircrew resource even more valuable. Always ready to mentor and teach new members, Major Pratt has taken other airmen under his wing to develop mission pilots and aircrew of tomorrow. Major Pratt is continuously working on self-improvement, proactively going to other units, providing an equal learning opportunity to all on how to become a mission pilot. So awesome, Major Pratt, thank you very much. Who can I turn this over to?
Oh.
So, thank you, sir.
Well,
So,
thank you very much.
yep, I appreciate all you guys. Thanks so much. It was kind of thinking maybe that awards dinner might be an interesting time to do this, but it's so far down the road. But I'll be back and do some further recognition of those at the Squadron 5 dinner. So thank you very much. I appreciate all of you.
And thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm going to segue into
Excellent.
segue. Thank you, Ken.
You'd think by now I'd learn to print those things bigger.
Yeah, well, it's your staff that didn't do it, right? Do you mind if I do this now?
Oh, how's this position?
Okay. So we have a new program coming up, and I hope that everybody's listening out there. Maybe we'll understand what's going on. I put the program up here on my iPad. I'm going to send this out later tonight or maybe tomorrow, so you all have a copy of it. But basically, what it is we're going to do mission pilot training, and we're going to do it at the squadron level for now. This is a brand new project that the wing announced just today before I got here. It's going to be a year long. It's a mission that's got a mission number on it, as you can tell up here. So when we fly, we're going to be on that mission number. And basically we're going to try to expedite mission pilots because we have a very big shortage of mission pilots right now in the wing. So instead of having to go to a SARX or mission air school, we're going to do it at the local level, which means
You train whenever you want.
you can train whenever you have time and whenever your instructor pilot has time. Right now, the only 2 instructor pilots or 3 instructor pilots in Group 3 is Terry Pratt, Roy Knight, and Jim Hatoas. They're the only 3 guys that can do this mission pilot training because they're SETs for mission pilot. Now, there's a couple of qualifications. You have to be a scanner to be a mission pilot, right? That's part of one of your SQTR requirements. However, 2 of the rides are going to qualify. 2 of the rides that you take for your mission pilot training are going to qualify for your scanner rides as well.
Oh, interesting. So you can go without the
So
scanner
as you're
and
doing
do
your
the
mission
scanner
pilot training,
as part
2 of those rides will qualify you for your scanner rides. However, you have to have your FEM and prep done. Your familiarization, preparation, they have to be done. You also have to have your the IS 100, the IS 200, and the IS 700 completed. You have to have nearly 200 hours and you have to be a transport mission pilot already. All right. So as long as you can get those things fulfilled and you can get your check right within the next year, it's for the fiscal year 2023. So the way I understand it. So get your training, get it done, get your familiarization done. Again, I want to tell everybody out there that I will do the scanner, FEM, and prep here on a one-to-one basis, or maybe a couple or 3 people to me to one on a Saturday, Sunday. So whenever you're ready for the FEM and prep training, let me know. So anyway, that's a really neat program coming up. There's only 2 FROs that can release the flights. That's myself and Jem Hatoas. We're the only 2 in Group 3 that can release the flights. Other groups have other FROs, but just for Group 3, right? So it's just me and Jem. And we'll check your credentials first before we release the flight. So that's why there's only 2 of us involved in this. Not all the FROs are involved. So we're going to be watching all your credentials, all your qualifications, make sure that you're ready to go. And so anyway, so get with Terry, get with Roy, get with Jim Hatoas, and schedule your sorties. And good luck. So thank you very much.
Can I ask something kind of off subject?
Yes, go right ahead.
Training for me or the Rusty Pilot program. I've heard of this. You can get your currency back.
We
We
have
have a
that still
Rusty
exists.
Pilot program, yes.
I'm just a steam gauge guy. So what else how would I get started in that, in the aircraft we have here? Because I gotta learn the systems on the, we don't do
The
steam gauge.
G1000 transition, there's a G1000 class on the neck, what's it called? The learning management
Access.
system?
Yeah, access.
Yeah.
Access, yeah.
I've
So
done
there's
that
a
class a couple of times in here.
Sir?
I've done that class a couple of times in here,
Yeah.
years ago.
Okay, so if you've already done it, then you're familiar.
I would do it again.
I can actually do one-on-one training with you if you'd like. You can come here, we'll plug in the battery charger and we'll do some one-on-one training. However, it takes about 2 hours for a pilot that's a steam gauge pilot to get used to where to look on a G1000.
Yeah, no doubt.
And everything else is the same. So I think you'll do fine. But if you want to go ahead and do the mission pilot training course, the G1000 will be part of that. So
I want to fly cadets.
okay, so we'll get you certified to fly cadets.
Yeah, I gotta redo the, just get my,
So let me look at what
Training.
you've done, and then I'll come up with a training program for you.
okay, yeah, I haven't flown for quite a while, so
Right.
definitely gotta get some time.
So yeah, it's not that difficult. It really isn't. So
Bob wouldn't even let me fly his
you
planes
need a
anymore.
few hours in a cockpit.
Yeah.
Bob doesn't fly, so
I'm not even flying that much anymore. Trying to get it fixed
Oh.
again.
Yeah, I need to find time to do
We
that.
have in our squadron for you to do training is Trent Ferris, very good guy.
Ryan Ferris, Shane Telekarakna, and Terry Pratt, and Roy Knight.
What do I do to get to, so I talked to you about getting some of the G1000 stuff going, some one-on-one stuff.
Yeah, like I said, I'll have to look at your credentials and see what, give you a guidance on that, what I recommend. But
Let's start with the train. Do we still have the trainer? In fact, I haven't been back there for a while. The trainer?
we do have actually the Redbirds back there for doing some.
So that would be
Free
the
training.
easiest to get started with the Garmin.
It'll give you some good hands-on memory stuff because it's very, very similar to the G1000 environment. So and it's free. All you got to do is go back and turn it on. And
No, more to it than that. I turned it on to make sure it was working for my inventory, but I couldn't figure out how to make it work.
I'll help you out on that. And just anytime, because I am retired right now and I really don't have much to do. So anytime
Okay.
anybody needs any help, they just give me a call. Right?
I'll hit you up when I have a day off.
Yeah. So I'm very happy to help. I'm very happy to train. So
Yeah, I definitely want to get my currency back,
good. I'd like you to get
especially
it back.
while I can do it for free.
Yeah, I'd like you to get it back. And most of your training and most of your flights would be funded. So
It's good for you. So anyway, that's the training coming up. It's like I said, it's an annual. It's for mission pilots if you're interested in being the mission pilot credential, and so get with me, get with Terry Pratt, Roy Knight, Jim Hatoas, and we can all answer questions for you. So anyway, good luck, Mr. Younger. You got anything else? You got your video to play?
That's right. So, Aerospace Education Week. So, last time,
I'll give you a chance. I'm gonna run away.
all right. Last time we had had a video that was
Thank you, sir.
showcasing, I think, one of the first female Thunderbird pilots.
No.
And let me see if I can pull that up here.
Shut you off.
Yeah. Did you?
Or were you trying to connect?
Oh, I wasn't doing anything.
Oh, you're not going to show it on there?
I'm gonna try to.
Huh?
I'm gonna try to.
Oh.
Nope.
Well, you're on a PC, right?
Yeah, we'll see.
You can't really show it on there unless you have Apple something.
What did we, hey Dave, what did we have to do last time? We had to do some jury rigging.
Do you have Parrot?
Parrot.
You can plug the cable right into your computer.
Well, I think last time.
Hi, kid.
Yeah. Is
See ya,
anyone?
thank you.
In fact, thank you. In fact, let me check on Teams again, because if no one's on Teams, then why would we go through all the trouble? Yeah. No one's on Teams, so why would we go through all the trouble? So yes, I'll just do it this way. Doo-doo-doo. I can't remember stuff. All right. Get past this garbage. Oh, we're doing this again, huh? Where it doesn't, I don't get the broadcast thing. It's only us and everybody. Are you gonna just film it with the camera, or okay?
No, it's gonna broadcast through.
Oh, okay, okay.
How'd you
All
get it
right.
to work?
use my iPad.
Huh?
There's no one on team, so I'll just use
Being
my
on
iPad.
people's first flight.
Oh, you're going to teams.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, that makes so much sense. Too.
Well, and to remind everyone that, so again, this is, excuse me, this is Colonel Nicole Malachowski. She was a former CAP cadet, Air Force Academy graduate, female combat pilot, F-15E, and now has, I think we're at the point where she starts to talk about her appointment to, well, let's see where we actually are, because she flew F-15s for a while in combat, and then, her career was about to take a major turning point. So we'll continue from that point.
To give you a moment that you remember for the rest of your life, that resets you, that gets you calm, that puts you in control, and then you get to work.
Yep, indeed.
Oh my. So tell me a little bit about going from this to combat assignment.
Yeah, so I left Seymour Johnson. Living overseas, the kid was like living the dream. And actually, when we showed up to the base, because there was a group of us, maybe like 5 or 6 from the larger class who all went to that base together, it was really a weird welcome, because most of the base like was deployed, but we didn't know why. And so we showed up and we're like, hey, we're here, we're ready to fly. And they're like, yeah, there's no planes or instructors, so good luck with that. And I remember they had us like painting the Quonset huts. I took out trash. I mean, it was like, wait, this isn't like the experience I'm supposed to have, or I had in mind. But it turned out that the wing had deployed for what would eventually become Operation Allied Force. So remember that over Kosovo. So now I'm dating myself. Now it's 1999 and late 98, 99. And eventually what ended up happening is they would send instructors back and forth to Lake and Heath to fly with us, to do simulators with us, to fly with us, so that we didn't atrophy our skills. Mm-hmm. And the really cool part was when all of us graduated, we immediately went into combat. And so a lot of people can spend their entire career training for a day that never comes. And that's okay, and that's honorable. And it's good that our country has that readiness. Sudden, graduate and as lieutenants, young people are straight into combat. We had a section of people who immediately were flying, those missions. I came in a few months later, right at the end of Allied Force. It became Operation Deliberate Forge. And I'll never forget, our squadron deployed to fly out of Aviano Air Base, Italy, in support of Operation Deliberate Forge over Kosovo. And my very first flight was a night flight. And this was when they had just come up with NVGs, night vision goggles for fighter aircraft. And I'll never forget, it was the day of my first night combat mission. They're like, here's some NVGs. I had an hour-long class. They put the squadron commander in my backseat, a Wizzo by the name of Lieutenant Colonel Summonsby, called sign Jr., an extraordinary leader and pilot. Wizzo taught me to be a good pilot. So I've got the squadron commander. I'm a lieutenant, right? The squadron commander in your backseat on your first night combat mission wearing NVGs for the first time. It was wild. So there's a good combat memory.
Oh my goodness! And tell me a little bit about your combat experience in Kosovo.
Yeah, I would have to say my combat experience, and I will just be very transparent, was rather anticlimactic. I have so many friends who found themselves on missions that were just extraordinary. They did heroic things. I'm not one of them. So when I was flying over Kosovo and all of that, Serbia, all of Bosnia, a couple of times maybe, I got to be careful what I say. I wasn't doing anything where I was actually employing weapons. Okay.
Bigger.
Fast forward, my most distinct combat experiences would be in 2005. At this point, I was a major.
We
I
can't
was a
see it back
senior
there.
captain, and we deployed in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. This was on my second assignment to RAF Lake and Heath. And at this point, I had found myself in a place where I had So I was a 2-ship flight lead, 4-ship flight lead, instructor pilot, evaluator pilot working in Sandoval. I was a mission commander. I was leading peers safely in and out of combat. I was a flight commander. Like this was like, the height of the dream, right? And that's where, sometimes things would get a little bit more active. Back in 2005, I mean, there was still a lot of that ground war going on, right? You may remember Fallujah and things like that. One of the missions that the F-15E Strike Eagle originally wasn't built for, but grew into and has become extraordinary at, is what we call CAS, C-A-S, Close Air Support. So that's when we would be called in to support kinetically, sometimes not, troops on the ground, whether they were American or allied, who were under, immediate close attack from the enemy. So those were very high-risk missions. Those were missions where there was an intense sense of urgency, and those were missions that you always remember. So yeah, Operation Iraqi Freedom tended to be a little more dynamic for me. But again, I don't ever want to compare myself to my friends who found themselves on missions where extraordinary stuff happened. Just not me.
No, I can tell that by your personality, but at the same time, I suspect that you still did some amazing things, especially in leading during all those types of missions. It must have been interesting and certainly had a lot of adrenaline going on doing some of the things that you did over there.
There's definite adrenaline, there's focus, there's concentration. And I think it was always extraordinary for me to take a young lieutenant out on their very first combat mission, and having those conversations with them ahead of time about everything that could go right and, of course, everything that could go wrong. I like to tell people would always say, Nicole, they pay you fighter pilots, right? You're an elite class, right? The American taxpayers, they pay you to be really proficient, right, at employing. It's not just flying a plane. Remember, it's a weapon system. So we are employing a weapon system. The taxpayers in America pay you to employ that weapon system. And I always correct people. I said, no, that's not what the taxpayers of America, I think, pay fighter pilots for. They pay us for our judgment.
Yeah.
We do what we do for our judgment, especially when things go wrong. Because I don't know about you, but I have never flown a sortie that went exactly the way I planned. Never. And I started flying when I was 12.
I think that's probably true of just about every pilot out there. Your training is for the unexpected and when things don't work. It's a lot easier to do the thing, right? You can solo in a few hours probably, but that doesn't do anything once things start to go bad.
Indeed. And like I said, these aren't just planes that you take off, fly, and land. These are giant pieces of flying software and hardware mixed together at $65 million plus each, right? So knowing how to use that weapon system and select the different weaponry or armament or arming times, all of those things that you need to alleviate the pain point of that soldier, sailor, marine, airman on the ground at the exact time and place that they need it. Yeah, it's intense and it's amazing, and I'm just honored I was ever even a part of it.
So what was it like coming back from deployment and from that active service?
Whoops.
Here's why doctors, nurses, and patients
I was like,
urge you
what
to
is
vote
going on?
no on Prop 29.
29 would shut
Well, that's
down
one of the- you
dialysis
talked about
clinics
November
Risking my
15,
life
13.
and the lives of 80,000 other dialysis
Oh,
patients.
yeah.
And from that active service.
Coming back from deployment is always an interesting feeling from a combat deployment.
Good job.
Because you are in such kind of like a hyper-aroused state, right, of just focus and concentration, and you're on a schedule, where you're 12 hours on, 12 hours off for crew rest. In that time, you're still trying to mission plan and get all these things done, get the type of rest that you need, stay up to date on the latest on what the enemy's doing, whatever it is. My point is that the level of focus and concentration and commitment and just intensity, when you come back home, it takes time, right, to come off of that. It's like a there are dedicated times off from work so that you can decompress. They have things in place to help you decompress, whether that's like morale, like little events together, whether that's mental health support, whether that's supporting time and bringing families in so you have time to reconnect. They protect this space now so that you can decompress and get the support you need to kind of re-enter into kind of the normal peacetime training mindset.
Got it. Now, did you move on to be commander before or after you were with the Thunderbirds?
Yeah, so let me think through this. After I left the Thunderbirds, so I flew in the 2006-2007 season. For the first part of 2008, I trained my replacement, Kirby Enzer, who did an amazing job. And from there, I actually went and served in the White House for a year as a White House Fellow. So in the military, about the time you become a major, they have you do something called IDE. I think it's Intermediate Developmental Education. Don't hold me to that. I'm old now. It was a long time ago. But it allows you to get out of the cockpit and kind of just broaden your perspective. For most majors who do IDE, you either do that through an Air Force program at Maxwell Air Force Base. Maybe you do it alongside the Army or the Navy schools for a little bit of a joint crossover. But some people get really lucky, and there's these fun fellowships and things like that. And the White House Fellowship was one of them. To this
I
day,
want to pause
I
you here
have no
because
idea how I got picked.
I want to make sure we don't skip over the Thunderbirds part before we get through this.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, so you asked about command, though. The command hasn't come yet.
Oh, geez, I'm sorry. So take me first to the Thunderbirds, and
Okay.
then I want to get to command.
Okay, so the Thunderbirds. I guess I should tell people now that I'm actually from Las Vegas, Nevada. Obviously, I was too short to be a showgirl, so I stayed focused on becoming a fighter pilot. And it's home to Nellis Air Force Base, which a lot of people watching now probably know is known as home of the fighter pilot. So I grew up watching that F-4 Phantom, right? I grew up watching these fighter aircraft. And Nellis Air Force Base is also home of the United States Air Force Thunderbirds. So when I was in high school, it wasn't uncommon, right, for me to take my brown, bag lunch out onto the football field, eat my peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and watch the Thunderbirds scream overhead. And I remember thinking, like, I want to do that someday. But I knew that was hard, right? I mean, I had to become a fighter pilot first, right? And then you have to become an experienced fighter pilot, which takes time and effort. And then you have to go through this amazingly detailed, if you will, Thunderbird application process. So there I was back in 2005 in Iraq. I told you I finally had the qualifications and the hours and the things I needed to meet the requirements to apply to be an Air Force Thunderbird. And so I applied right before we deployed. When I'm down in Iraq, I get an email that says, you made the semifinals. It's kind of a two-part process, the semifinals and the finals. And I didn't know what to do because they're not going to let you fly back to the United States in the middle of a combat deployment, right, where they need each and every body out there flying the real-world missions. So I remember thinking, well, I actually got picked out of all the applicants to do the semifinal interview, but I can't go. And I ended up talking to my squadron commander, a guy by the name of Dan Debris. His call sign's Trash Debris, okay? So, great man, fully supportive. He says, let's not give up on this. Let's see if we can find a way. And so he put himself out there in support of me, and he went to his chain of command in Iraq, and he said, look, I really think she has a chance. And I think that we as an Air Force and as a squadron need to support her in this, and I will work the flying schedule to make sure that we get these missions done. And I couldn't believe it. He came back, he's like, you're on a plane tomorrow. Please make us proud. Please make this worth it. And that was huge. I don't know if you guys can fully appreciate, I'm sure the veterans can, but like, it sent home, and I had mixed feelings, but I gotta tell you, the brothers in my squadron were so excited and so supportive of me.
Nobody on teams?
That I felt like I was representing them, and that's what Thunderbirds really do, right? Your whole job is to represent all of the other people in the Air Force, right? With the dignity and the respect and the honor they deserve. And like in that moment, they were cheering me on. And so I flew home and I did the semifinals. And then while I was still in the U.S., I found out I made the finals. So I stayed for the finals. We could talk a little bit about what those are. I ended up 3 weeks later, flying back to Iraq and flying combat sorties. So I went from combat to interviewing for the Thunderbirds not like when I said earlier that I am a product of timing, luck, and circumstance, I am. Think about all of the people who made that happen. You know, I will always be in debt to Dan DeBrey for that support and to my colleagues and peers who picked up my slack while I was gone. So,
That is amazing.
semifinals. Yeah, the semifinals. What?
Yeah, so tell me the process. What does that actually mean?
Yeah, so first of all, it's a big application, right? You got to turn in all of your annual performance reports, your HR, personnel stuff, all of your flying, check ride, and flying test scores, which to that point had always gone good, except I failed one in pilot training. We can talk about that too. I didn't have my flaps in the right position, so I had to do that check ride again. Anyways, you have to have like a letter of why you want to be in Thunderbird, a whole bunch of letters of recommendation. A lot of people around the Air Force are qualified and they apply. The team reads those, makes the cut, invites out about 12 people, give or take, for the semifinals. At that point, you meet the team on the road at one of their deployed air shows. And in that case, it's really, you do some informal interviews. They're more checking out your personality. It's more you getting to know the team. It's a very unique squadron, the way that it's set up, the processes that it follows, because it's a very unique mission. And in a lot of ways, I think the semifinals is more for the applicants to go, do I really want to do this? Because it is not an easy lifestyle, period. And then when you get picked for the finals, that's where you meet them at Nellis Air Force Base, and things get a lot more formal. So now you're in service dress, right? Which my husband had to ship from Lake and Heath, FedEx, because I'm flying in my desert flight suit from Iraq to make this. But anyways, formal interviews with the commanders, with the team, and then with the decision makers, right, which are the general officers that were there. General officers that, again, time and luck and circumstance put them in a place to say, yeah, right, we're ready to have a woman Thunderbird pilot, and they were willing to make that, decision. General Goldfein being one person who's very, special and important to me, and at that time, the commander of Air Combat Command, General Ron Keyes, who are still in my life to this day, and I appreciate their mentoring. So you do that. They sent me back to Iraq. We redeployed to Lake and Heath, where they gave us 2 weeks off, right? We just talked about that. My husband took me on a cruise of the Baltic Sea. So there we are, a week into the cruise. It's the middle of summer. We are in Oslo, Norway. We're docked in Oslo, Norway. And it's about 11 o'clock at night. And it's bright sunshine because it's Europe in the summer at 11 o'clock at night. And the phone rings in the stateroom. Immediately, both my husband and I heart sinks. Because as most military service members and veterans know, when you're on leave and the phone rings, it's usually not a good sign. And as a flight commander, my instinct was that someone in my flight or that I was responsible for had gotten hurt or that there had been an accident. So we answer the phone, my husband does, because I didn't want to touch the phone. He answered it, and the guy said, stand by for the commander of Air Combat Command, General Keyes. And he hands the phone to me, and I'm waiting, and there's a lieutenant colonel on line. This is Lieutenant Colonel so-and-so, stand by for the commander of Air Combat Command. And he, I know, is the one who makes the final decision on who is selected or not. And in that moment, I just knew that this was my consolation call, because it's tradition that they call everyone. In the finals, there's only about 6 people. So they give the courtesy of calling all 6 pilots, even though 3 are going to get picked.
This, or I hate that.
And so I knew this was my consolation call. And he said, is this Fifi, which is my call sign? I said, yeah. He said, Ron Keyes here. I'm like, yes, sir. He's a 4-star general. I'm just a captain. And I'm kind of nervous and shaking at this point. Luckily, he couldn't see it. And he said, we have a pretty great Air Force that I could find you in the middle of the Oslo fjord, don't we? And I said, yes, sir, indeed we do. And he said, I'd like to offer you a job. And that, my friends, is how it went.
Oh my goodness, that is amazing.
That was a long story to your short question. I'm so sorry.
No, please don't apologize for that. That must have been one of the seminal moments of your life.
Indeed, it was extraordinary. And I remember holding the phone. He said, we'd like you to be Thunderbird number 3 right wing. Do you accept? And it's such an intense assignment that they want really be on board. And I'm looking at my husband going, I got the job, I got the job. And I'm like jumping up and down, but I'm trying to be cool. You always got to sound cool on the radio, right? Right? You don't keep in mind until you're ready to sound cool. So I'm like, oh, yes, sir, that'd be great. And hung up the phone, and my husband ordered a bottle of champagne, and we sat out on the deck and watched the yacht race go by at midnight, and that was that. It was wonderful to be able to experience that with my husband, who of course is like my biggest cheerleader and champion even to this day. So without him, I couldn't have gone through that or even endured the scrutiny that came with it, which I guess we can get to as well.
Yeah, and again, was again in the Air Force as well. Was a Wizzo, you said?
Yep, we met flying the F-15E together in 1999, flying missions over Kosovo.
Wow. So tell me about your time with the Thunderbirds.
So the time with the Thunderbirds is busy. It's whirlwind. It's a deep honor. It's a deep privilege. It's an extraordinary squadron, and I just want people to know there are 125 people from 25 different career fields that come together to make that mission happen. And it's very easy for audience members or people to see the 6 jets and think of the 6 pilots, but we fly hard for 30 minutes during the air show, which we do. But like for 23 hours and 30 minutes out of the day, it's 125 with like the finest enlisted people from 25 different functions that make it happen. I have never been amongst a group of more professional, detail-oriented, kind, sense of urgency always type people. I mean, it's a special place. It's a special squadron full of really special people. Training season was 4 months long. We have a training syllabus that's crawl to walk to run. Some maneuvers clicked, some maneuvers did not. I never really enjoyed flying in the trail formation where we're stacked. I'm third down from the top. That's a higher risk formation to fly in. All of us had kind of those maneuvers that, tested us. And it's hard because you're like, man, I'm the hometown girl done good. Here's a Thunderbird. I'm an experienced F-15E pilot, and I'm struggling. Right? And it's training season is a very humbling, at least it was for me, very humbling experience. And we're flying twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day. A couple times we flew on the weekend just to keep up, because you have a set graduation date, to make the air shows. So that's kind of, I guess, what training season is like. And then when you hit the road, the next 2 years is just like, it's like a fire hose, right? Because you're on the road 5 days a week, 8-9 months out of the year. 9 months, maybe even 10. I'd have to do the math. It's been a while, but it's intense, right? I mean, you leave every Thursday. You leave and fly to a site. On Friday, you're at the air show site and you practice. That's also the days we do like different community service, interact with communities and schools, or Make-A-Wish, foundation, whatever that is. On Saturdays, you'll do community type events and recruiting booths in the morning. Then you'll go fly the air show, and you'll go to a reception that night. These are long days. On Sunday, you'll rinse and repeat. On Monday, you'll fly home. On Tuesday, you will practice at home at Nellis. On Wednesdays, you relax, you unpack your suitcase, you wash your clothes, and you repack them for Thursday. And a lot of us were also working on other things. The 2 years I was on the Thunderbirds, I was getting my master's degree.
Oh my God.
So my crew chiefs, my first year, Dave Batterson and Nate Pigza, they have my heart forever. They would carry my books for me because I couldn't fit them, in the F-15. And so after the air show and the reception, I would go to my room and stay up till, don't worry, I still have crew rest, but I would stay up and I would work on my master's degree.
All right. We'll pause it there. Yeah, I mean, that's her story. Amazing lady. She still hasn't gotten to, the next part, but next aerospace education.
The
Go for it.
Thunderbird people, talk to them about being where they were. They're very demanding.
Yes.
Each one has to have their own personal car, and they demand this, and they demand that. So when they go to march, it isn't as nice as what she says they are. They're really kind of jackasses. Pardon, I'm being polite.
It's Air Force.
They still can't fly as close as the Navy can. So that's my. rivalry.
All right. Well, do we have any last words before we wrap it up?
No, 1st of November is our next meeting, right? It's on Tuesday night.
That is correct, right?
So I think we have a 5-month, we have a 5-weekend month, is that right?
Is that coming up next month?
Yeah, but you're gonna have a bye for Thanksgiving, maybe.
Ah, yeah. Well, we'll figure something out. All right. Well, that's it, everyone. Have a good rest of the evening, and see you next week.
Yeah, next week's gonna be dark, right? Is that what we're saying?
It's already
No,
there.
we got the 1st, 8th,
Hmm?
15th, 22, and the 29th. So I'm not sure if you're doing Thanksgiving on the 22nd as being dark. But you got November 1st is our first meeting. Safety is on the 8th. Then you got the 15th, the 22nd, which is before Thanksgiving, and then the 29th, which is
Oh,
the 5th,
Okay, sorry, looking at the
fifth,
wrong month.
the 5th
Yeah,
Tuesday.
so we have a meeting next week,
Mm-hmm.
and we have a meeting the following week, but we don't have a meeting on the week of the 25th of November, so we're dark on that week.
But we'll have 4 meetings, and then the 1 week will be dark.
Yeah, 1 week will be dark, so, okay, good. Wow, got confused there. That happens to me a lot.
Puzzled.
And then for